Oh, hello, 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 people, wherever you are. So,
Hello.
1st of May, and we here, eh? So, good on us. Like new month, already spring, let's say this way. Hopefully, it's all good. And Terrence is looking very serious now.
Yeah, because I was pushing buttons because I don't see the chat. I usually see it on the right-hand side,
Uh-huh.
but I don't see it now unless that's maybe just when I'm hosting. Hey,
Yeah,
that must be. Yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Never mind. I'm not confused anymore. I'm good.
Anyway, on a bit sad point, so we are comic book chat place at the end of the day. We do
Yeah.
talk mainly comics. So on a sad note, the great Neil Adams has passed away.
Yeah.
And just mention, I've not mentioned it in Twitter. I don't. It's a lot of people talking about it, so I just wanted to mention here. We have an opportunity to whoever is going to watch it afterwards, hopefully. So we'll see that, and then yeah, if you don't know who's Neil Adams, go check it out. The man was a legend for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think the first book was that you read? Like the first time you realized, like when did Neil Adams first make an impression on you? Like what do you think it is that you read, or can you remember?
Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I'm a fan of Green Lantern quite a bit. And hello, Andrew Lopez. Lopez is here. So hello to you too. Yeah, it's the first thing. I mean, Batman. I think first time I saw it on Batman for sure. Then I think I discovered Dead Man, of course, because for
Yeah.
the YouTube. Oh, I'm talking YouTube experience anyway. For me, this is like a lot of learning points. But
Yeah.
Batman first, of course, Dead Man, but then Green Lantern was the main focus for me because I like Green Lanterns, and the Holy Grail for me was. Give me a second, I'll actually show you.
Yeah. Yeah, just for those of you watching, I was watching Jared Osborne's stream and they were talking about it on Friday.
I actually showed it. It's in my point of view.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this is the thing. I've been hunting, and it was going crazy in prices. There was sometimes I found in the shop, and I was like, my husband was not agreeing because he was in the in the same spot. I was like, shit, how I'm gonna get away with this? But I made up. I said, I'm gonna make this up. I'm gonna get money back, kind of thing, or shit like that. So I got this. It's not in the greatest shape, but it's my. But yeah, so this is one of the best covers I think he done, especially in this run, and it's very famous, of course. But there's lots of things, especially that like shooting things, and it's very famous. And of course, Dennis O'Neil was writing at that time, so I love that one. So one of my holy grails for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I have this shelving unit which I decoupaged.
Oh yeah.
Everything is Neil Adams, Dead Man.
That's awesome.
This is one of my favorite panels he ever did.
Yeah.
So he's with on my collection quite prominent figure because of that. I mean, I guess I really enjoyed it. A lot of that stuff, and it's mainly DC stuff. I guess I know of Neil Adams, but yeah, it's a sad thing. Especially like you don't want them to perish while you're kind of around, kind of thing. But life. It's a difficult point to accept sometimes, especially when
totally.
you're 8. So yeah, sad to hear that.
Yeah, for me, I think it would have been that not Daredevil, sorry, the Dead Man reprints in the 80s. I think is when the first time, like, because I was reading Spectre, Dead Man, Shade, all that kind of stuff. I think that Dead Man stuff, especially the covers on those reprints, that's when it really hit me. Like, this is a guy, you know what I mean? Like, there was just a quality of look to all of his characters. Like, they just had a different kind of feel to them. They felt more, not that the other ones don't feel real. It's just there's something different about the way his characters look on a page. They feel a little more real. They feel a little kind of stretched out and taller. Like they're this sort of lean, muscular kind of figures, you know what I mean? But there's a certain weight to it. But those Dead Man books, like those are seared in my brain, all of those issues, you know, like those covers are etched in my memory because they were just so, I loved that stuff. I loved the character at the time, and kind of discovering those reprints and seeing the way he depicted them on the covers was pretty amazing.
Yeah. And Angela Lopez is saying, watching another video really brought home the fact that there are other names that are close in age. Yeah. It's absolutely, sometimes we forget, like we're just going along with our things, and then suddenly things happens,
Yeah,
and
totally.
bad things happens. Unfortunately, life happens.
Yeah.
That part, which is very difficult to accept sometimes, but yeah, but we can celebrate what he done, and it's
Yeah.
definitely. I really like that he was open to this, like to mind of protecting his own fellow artists as well, which was
Right.
very good. What a
Yeah.
great way of dealing into that. So he was very loud voice and that stuff. Oh, here you go. Good afternoon to you too.
The other
After,
thing, Justin Green was another guy that passed away. If anybody watches my channel, I was talking
oh,
about the Guy Caldwell page that I got, and we chatted a bit about
oh
Justin Green.
yes, yeah.
So that's just one of his books that I have closely. So, again, another just influential figure, this time in underground comics, like a big influence on a guy
Yeah,
like Crumb.
yeah,
I'll open it up. I'll show you a
yeah. Sure. Yeah,
page or
yeah. Go
two
on.
inside.
Make sure you do. Oh,
So
lovely, man.
these are bigger. This magazine is bigger than Treasury size. So it's a
Yeah,
hefty
indeed.
son of a gun. But it's so great. I haven't sat and read it yet though.
Mhm.
But there you
Jeez.
go. Like there's the pages. So it's great stuff. And I think, like I was saying in my video, he just gave kind of guys like Crumb the permission almost to like, no, we can actually be really personal about our upbringing and about our lives and stuff. Obviously they took it, and I'd say a little bit of a different direction than he did, but just really entertaining stories, because he doesn't hold back on when he talks about his upbringing, especially his time with the church and things, so coming from like a religious background, so it's great stuff. It's really, really great.
Well, I need to be more alert on that point, but like me discovering comic books, it takes so long to actually be which way you go, like
Yeah,
there's so much to do, like, and of course I tend to go into those big two kind of worlds now. Image comic books is a big thing for me, but I think I'm
yeah,
more and more, I think for me, the main kind of excitement I always had when I talk Vertigo, like those releases. I think Vertigo has always been like, if I think of it, Vertigo is always there, like it never kind of gets away, because many of the great reads from that line is always there. So, but yeah, it's lots of discover. It's crazy. I mean, you have, because you have certain interest in the underground, and you've been doing it for well, yay big, like we call it.
1 or 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. So you are immersed in that world. For me,
Yeah.
it's great to actually be, with you, because you show us completely different world where it does exist, and it's been
Yeah.
for a long time now. So yeah, it's great to see that. And it's sad, of course, very sad that people, like passes away, and then life just
Totally.
continues, like we continue mentioning that.
Yeah, no, it just brings things into hyper focus, especially as you get older, right? Like,
Yeah.
brings
Oh
things
yeah.
in a different kind of focus. Yeah.
I think it's more like, for me, as when you have a child, it opens up another
Oh,
doorway.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking. Now it's not
Yep.
you're thinking about, you're always thinking about your child, and then like you want to say God, like you have to put the shell all over him, the kid of yours, and then just make sure that they're all fine. But it's just part of it, and I think it's just the minute I gave birth to my son, it's just like, okay, wow, this is it. This is this is for real. This is not a toy you can put away and forget about it for a year, and then just come back.
Well,
like
and
when
then
you feel.
and then when you blink and you turn around, and like your son is like 16 years old, like when I turn around and see Jaden and have to like look up at him a little bit, it's like, oh my God. And then Damien was talking about it in his 10-year anniversary video. I go back every once in a while and just kind of like look at my old videos. I don't watch a ton of them. I just kind of like scroll through the picture that it's captured. And I mean, that seeing yourself age on video is just like, holy shit. Because I mean, I'm coming to my 10 years as well too. So going back and seeing how different I look and all the different stages, it's really just kind of makes it resonate of like, holy shit, that's a chunk of time that we've been doing this, so and it just goes by like that.
And that's the thing, and I was like, remember the day, I clearly remember when I was making that first video of mine, and I was shitting my pants, almost literally. And there's nobody around you, there's just this camera thing, and you just like look at it, and you completely get focused, and you completely forget what's happening around you, and you're like, and it's like, and then when you finish, and you're like, do I really do this? Do I actually want to post this kind of thing
Yeah,
on
yeah,
YouTube?
yeah.
If I wouldn't have made it the step, I wouldn't have been here. So, and I wouldn't have
Yeah, totally.
discovered this world which I wanted to be part of at the end of the day, because I was watching Damien's videos,
Yeah.
and I was watching yours. I remember clearly Jaden being a wee baby,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of thing, sitting down, having a chat, and he's showing
Yeah.
his books now. Like you, Lillian, as well. Lillian, man,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
How things happens,
Getting
but yeah,
huge. Yeah. Yeah,
been
no,
here a
it's
while.
crazy. Yeah, it's true.
But you know what is great? To be honest, time,
Totally is.
like, if you don't notice the time passing, that means you're having really good time. So in
Yeah.
that sense, that's why it's kind of great to celebrate it as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think I'm like going to follow you like a bit later on in the year, maybe, or even next year. I will be probably in that same, because kind of in the same vein, the times we've been celebrating the time we in YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been right around the same time, right? Like you and me must have started around the same time.
Well, no, you started way earlier. I remember
Oh,
watching
was it
your
way earlier? Really? Oh, okay.
way earlier. I don't remember exactly, but I remember watching your videos quite I mean, maybe 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 before I even
Oh, okay.
thinking to do that video. And I remember Damien, and then Travis, and then Oddfellow Thoughts.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's lots of memories and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
So kind of crazy how time passes by.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
Have you watched anything entertaining this week?
Nothing comic related. We went to see The Northman last night before our wind up. So we saw that in the theater. In our awesome, like, we've got this awesome, it's called the Town 8, and it's the cheap theater in town. Like, you're not getting no huge screen, you're not getting surrounds, you know what I mean? Like, it costs like $5.25, I think, to go and see a movie there. And it was great because there was 8 of us, and it's always the theater that it's downtown, it's a little rougher. We always, I think the entire population of Winnipeg smuggles in booze when they go to watch at the town. So we had our flasks with us and sat at the back and watched the movie. And yeah, I mean, it was good to be at the town. I wasn't crazy about the movie. I hesitate to say too much since it's still new, but it's the same guy that did The Witch and then did The Lighthouse. So this is kind of the third movie now that he's done. The one positive thing I will say, just briefly, is that I'm not a big fan of Nicole Kidman. I don't particularly dislike her strongly. I don't really have a strong opinion on her. But man, she had this one scene that really was like, all of us, like, we all kind of turned to each other afterwards, like, holy shit, Nicole Kidman still got chops, you know, like it was impressive. Like, she really gave a good performance, and especially that scene. But other than that, I mean, you know, once time has passed a little more, then I'll maybe be a little more upfront. But let's just say I didn't particularly enjoy it that much. It wasn't my favorite, you know, so there were some really good moments though. He's doing, Eggers is doing Nosferatu next. He's doing a remake of Nosferatu. And I think Willem Dafoe is going to be playing the vampire character. So I'm sort of excited about that, but because of after this one, I'm kind of hesitant as well too. So, because his last 2, I haven't been a huge fan of. I liked The Lighthouse, but it didn't blow me away like The Witch did. I think The Witch, so far for me personally, is his best out of the 3. I think it's kind of head and shoulders above the other 2 films.
Just to rewind back, yes, I've been doing. I mean, my YouTube channel has been a bit neglected doing my own videos. So, but I've been doing it since my son's birth is what they kind of team down a little bit with the video stuff, because you know time is of an essence to take care of my son, basically.
Yeah.
All that I was full on in there and doing all that stuff. I mean, I'm still, like I said, I'm still doing those videos like with live now, but
yeah,
I'm trying to keep up. But yeah, it was a bit of a break, but yeah, it's always there. I've been here a while. Yeah, if you go back, I mean, some of the videos opened up because since there's changing the rules, I was thinking I'm going to cancel all that stuff, but there's some of them I left it open for quite some time. So if you guys want to check it out, you're more than welcome. And maybe you'll be surprised and think, oh my God, what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, you must be at least 9 years though, right? Like, it's got to be right around there.
Yeah, at least, for sure. I mean, as I said, close by, because I remember you guys always celebrating. Is kind of a reminder for me to check out when I'm solo celebrate. And
yeah,
Rick Ray says about the movie as well. The story was overly simplistic, but I like the steep Norse mythology. Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm not even. I mean, I've heard the name. I don't even know who was acting in it. So that's how I'm not
yeah.
up to watching stuff like that. Haven't seen it, but I really enjoy Lighthouse. Okay,
Hmm.
interesting. Always want to see it, but especially William Defoe. I love that guy, and I think he's
Willem
great
Dafoe is
actor.
an amazing actor. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great.
So maybe I will, but I've never had like a time to do that. I don't know. Maybe I just like it went past by me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Drunken Sailor says hello. Hello.
The singer Bjork had a small bit part in the movie last night too, and
Oh wow.
her scene was pretty amazing. Like the look of her character and stuff was very very cool. And Willem Dafoe, his part was a little smaller in this one yesterday too, but his performance was pretty top notch. And so there's, like I said, there's some good moments in it for sure. There's some pretty decent moments.
Yeah,
And
they
all
both.
you need to know is this: he swims and he swims and he swims. It's like, dude, swimming. Yeah, it's we're kind of chuckling at that in the theater.
Oh, I like Bjork a lot. I think she's the
So do
best
I.
character of those musician parts,
Yeah,
which is really great. I have fantastic lady, and she has so always very managed. Oh, I can't even say. It has a great imagination. Let's say this way. I'm gonna
absolutely.
shorten that word so I
Yeah,
don't have to mumble in my mouth.
yeah,
Yeah, so great. Oh, it's nice to see her. I mean, she's coming back sometimes. She disappears again, then she comes back, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah. No, she's. I think she's a very very creative.
Yeah.
Jaden's mom is a huge Bjork fan, so I
Right.
always heard her music through her. And then she's worked with. She did this album, this vocal album. So guys like Mike Patton were involved. Rozelle was involved. This
Mhm.
Tanya Tagaq, who's a Canadian Indigenous or Inuit throat singer. She did
Right.
some work with Bjork as well too. And there's some tracks on that album. Like I said, I can't remember the name, but there's some really really cool stuff because there's no instruments. It's all vocal samples and sounds, and like made from humans. That she kind of sings along with and creates these pieces. She's a very and Dancer in the Dark was the one that we saw her in. I think that was her first movie. There might have been one before that. I don't remember, but and her
Yeah.
videos and stuff growing up, like they were always impactful, like
Yeah.
really interesting stuff. Yeah.
Very. I always remember, like you hear it, the sound, you straight away know who it is. She's like such a distinguished person, kind of thing in her own field, what she's doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice to see her coming back and doing stuff, which is great. Like that's what kind of people you want to see them back. Like
Yeah. Totally.
especially if she wants to dabble in that world as well.
Yeah.
Me and my husband wasted about 2 hours of our time by watching because we wanted something really completely like brain non-thinking movie, and then we decided to because I'm a fan of the game, so I don't know why did they even done that kind of thing, but anyway, so absolute waste of the time. It's called the Uncharted. Tom Holland was part of it, and it's a PlayStation game. It's almost Indiana Jones type of a character. It's great, fantastic story in the game, but this movie, dude, I don't know why we continued watching. It's like me and looked at each other like, why are we still watching this? Just like let it finish. this is how this is how we felt. I was like,
Yeah.
why we did that? So sometimes, honestly, I would like I know I like it like really kind of like non kind of like brain waves to move it a lot, but this one was complete like Dum could watch it and it's like what the hell is this shit? Because it did not make sense at
Yeah.
all. And it's, I don't know how you guys, whoever you're watching is now, but Tom Holland, I can't watch anything of him, but just think Spider-Man.
Yeah.
One look Spider-Man. It
Yeah.
says this one Spider-Man. He flips around Spider-Man. It's like,
Yeah.
oof, that's for the guy, maybe, but it's just my point of view. I can't
Yeah.
unseen Spider-Man anymore. Because that's why I was like trying to see his other chops of the acting a part of Spider-Man because there's so much associating him with that.
Hmm.
I couldn't. I mean, maybe the people who are using just that as a strength of his characters, like at the end of the actor's strengths are some certain things. Like he's really physical. He bounces around like a maniac. And my husband's like, Jackie Chan move, Jackie Chan move, Jackie Chan move. Why? It's like almost copied, he said. There were some scenes in that movie. It's like almost like they took frame by frame, and Tom Holland was doing that kind of
Okay.
things
Yeah.
like Jackie Chan was doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, what a waste of time. But anyway, I guess that's what we do sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, not recommended.
Yeah.
Yes, a proper waste of
Oh,
time.
that's too bad. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It would be like nice to have that kind of like a entertainment, like movie kind of thing, like full action, pirates, treasure. Antonio Banderas was part of the group, and I said, "Why, dude? Why you are there? Because you're
Right.
so much higher level than anything." But I don't know what the directors were thinking or how they cut the movie. There were some scenes where it doesn't make any kind of sense. You were like chop and chop. You can like really see click. Like somebody just chopped, put paste, and then put that one, and there's no smooth transition whatsoever. And you're like,
yeah.
oh,
I
no.
bet you that's because nothing was filmed. I guarantee it that they didn't film anything. They missed some sort of extra bits to make that transition. That's usually what ends up happening.
It's called Uncharted architectural phone panels. It's Uncharted. It's the game from PS4, one of the flagship games. They have plenty of them going on. It's a fantastic game and story. And I was like, I looked at my husband and was like, you have a great story. Why are you ruining it?
Yeah.
And
totally.
you have this the day. If you have money to invite this kind of guys to come in to do the job. Mark Wahlberg was there, which is
awesome.
he's great, and sometimes like always looks drunk. I don't know why, but that's my
yeah.
drunk.
Yeah,
even though he's like has like serious face, and he starts like talking to you, and you're like, dude, how many joints did you have before you had this job? I know. He has. Is raking in that part of it because it's funny. It's hilarious that Puss in Boots. Anyway, my son still doesn't like it though. It's like,
oh really?
Yeah, he doesn't find it entertaining for him yet. So I guess he needs to grow up on that thing. So, but anyway,
so I just wanted to say, I just wanted to give a shout out. So AFPC is talking about Bjork's work with Matmos, and I got to give my friend Fletcher a shout out. He did a music video for Matmos that just came out last week.
Really?
I don't remember the title of it. I posted it in my Twitter, but it's worth checking out. It starts on Zoom, it like a push in on like a piano, and then it goes all digital because he does video synthesis and stuff. So manipulates images, uses this. I think it's called. Is it called Procreate? I don't know, to create these 3-dimensional objects, and it's a very cool video. It's a really interesting piece of music too. It's based on some older composer who did a lot of visual scores. So instead of writing like notation, he would do images and things, and that would be the score that you would play. So associated with a bunch of guys, kind of infamous composers and things. So it's he did a really, really great job. It's the first video that he's done, and hopefully it's because they're on Thrill Jockey, which is a fairly big record label for like indie stuff, right? So hopefully it gets some more exposure and he can do some more because it's impressive.
So you said that you post on Twitter. Did you?
I did a post on Twitter. Yeah, I'll at you on it when I find it. Yeah,
I definitely want to check it out. Yeah, just remind me sometimes. Like I see some stuff, especially music wise. I do check your stuff out because curiosity.
Yeah.
Once you do something different, I go. So,
yeah.
I mean, I have like similar kind of taste, but most of the time you go like, oh, I didn't know it existed. Okay, fine, go. And expose myself to that kind of stuff. So it's always good.
Yeah,
and then non-traditional notation system.
Yeah, my son was talking about like because Fletcher was in town not too long ago and we hung out with him for a bit, and he was telling us about it. So my son started digging into some of their music, and I guess I don't really have much experience with the band either, but they classically did like electronic music. But he was saying there's a couple of albums where like one album they did where the sound sources were plastic, that then they manipulated and made this music out of, and it's like, and he was saying that it's pretty impressive. So it makes me want to go back and revisit some of their stuff just to give it a listen, because that's not how I remember it. But maybe I was, I don't know what I would have been thinking, because if they're not an act that I think they're just a duo. They're not somebody that I've followed very closely throughout their career or whatever. So,
it's good. I guess now we're gonna find out. You're gonna expose me to that kind of stuff. I want
to
hear. I'm curious, like what kind of people, like what makes a sound for some people, what is called. Anyway, so okay, we've been half an hour talking about nothing, so it's great. let's get them to a therapy session
Yeah,
of
yeah.
ours. So I can ask you to kickstart if you don't mind, I guess,
Sure.
and see what you have first to share with us.
Sure. So I'll start off with Taboo. So I'm continuing my read of the Taboo series. This is book number 3. I don't have book number 2 because that's the first book that From Hell was in. So I don't have it, and I'm gonna get it eventually. But I'm missing issue number 2 and issue number 6. Man, this was kind of honestly a pretty disturbing issue. There was some stuff that wasn't so bad. I just wanted to highlight a couple of them. So this one called Poker Face, this Bernie Moreau, who's from Montreal, so a Canadian dude who did that Mackenzie Queen book that I showed. He also had a story in issue number 1. This one, I think, surpasses that story. I really loved the story, and the thing that I liked about it, so it's this poker game, and they're gambling, and they're smoking, and they're drinking, and as the story goes on, he does all these things, like the panels start to get a little more dense. Let's see, yeah, stuff like this I thought was clever. There's one of the guys that's there. You never really get a good look at him. Every time he draws them, there's something that's a little bit obscuring his face, and he's not saying the name. And then these kind of scenes here. So you really get this sense that you're kind of intoxicated with these people playing, and you get little flashes, like all of a sudden the person's hand comes in to grab the cards, and there's a moment of like, holy shit, what the hell is that? And then when you look, he's sort of blurry, so you never really get a sense of what this guy looks like. I thought it was handled really well, and it kind of goes from there. I won't show you too much more, but again, like, there's just some sort of magic that he does with the page to kind of, instead of doing kind of the Doctor Strange kind of psychedelic imagery and things, he does other things that really give you that same kind of feel that you're now slowly drifting into this world of like unreality and stuff. Really, really cool. Not a scary story by any stretch, but just a really nicely told story. There's Rick Veitch in here as well too. This one was kind of silly, but the thing that was good about this is they're experimenting with digital and photography, and it really gives a cool look to it. Stuff like this, for example, this panel here looks really great, because it has that photographic, but it's also got that Friedman, the Friedman guy, Drew Friedman, I think, where it has this kind of like this pointillism kind of texture to it. So it's pretty interesting. It's about this guy who has a fetish for like plastic since he was a kid, and he eventually finds a sex doll and he falls in love with her, and so it's kind of, it gets a little silly. There's some moments that are still pretty good and pretty interesting, but it's not a highlight. I would say that this one was probably the most disturbing, and honestly, it's disturbing to the degree with that I don't know how much I'll show of it. It had this real psychological disturbing factor. This guy who has a thing for having sex with dead bodies. And it sort of starts out like, I honestly hesitate showing too much. It starts out with these guys have found somebody for him, and they've made her up and stuff. And it turns out that it's a little bit of a con, that she's not actually dead. It's a con that they're trying to play on him. But then even that has a twist at the end that it's intense. I finished reading that one, and I actually didn't feel so good after reading it, which is, again, like, that's what he said he was trying to do with Taboo. He was trying to get under your skin with a different kind of horror, not always necessarily, because it's not visually horrific or anything. It's just the ideas that are going on in that story are just horrific, And then Tim Lucas and Mike Hoffman are back. They did Throat Sprockets, which was one of the standouts from issue 1 for me. Sort of a vampire story. This guy who starts getting fetishizes women's necks, and then he starts drawing blood out of them right at the end. Well, now it kind of takes it to the next step in that universe. So if that world did happen, there's a whole market for women who they don't have sex with Johns, so they're prostitutes, but they don't have sex with anybody. They just let you suck some of the blood out of their neck. So it's, again, it's not a horrific, it's just an interesting take on like moving forward with this idea, right? And it's this guy talking about relationships and what it means to be in a relationship, and that kind of like conversation and sort of song and dance that happens when you first meet somebody. Super great. The art is okay. It's not my favorite type of stuff, but I do like it. So he meets this woman and they start to fall in love, and it's really nice. And I think right at the end is when it really came together for me, because the rest of it was good, but I think at the end when he goes on a business trip and you see kind of the cabbie takes him to the red light district. One side of the road is prostitutes, the other side of the road is women who just let you, they all have collars on because they don't want you to see the bite marks on their neck. And they sort of, the cabbie is saying that the prostitutes won't come towards the car, you have to approach them, but the women who want their who are there to get their blood sucked come towards the car. So it almost has this sort of horror element to it when they're flocking around the car and banging on the window trying to get his attention, you know. So that was a cool one. What was the final one? Yeah, this final one was also fucking disturbing. There was two that were disturbing, and this final one was the one that really kind of disturbed me. So it's called Love in the Afternoon, written by Rolf Stark and Marlene Stevens. And it's basically, it's about a guy who is an officer at a concentration camp, but it starts out with him and his family, like having breakfast with his family, coming down to sit and have breakfast with his family. And yeah, sorry, I was home late, you know, it got really busy, so you don't really know. And it's intercut with this picture of someone looking through slats in the wall. Hello, Jackio. And you don't know, like, is this somebody that's in the house with them? And you start to realize that, no, this is one of the prisoners at the camp. So then he goes to the camp and you get a bit of on the other side of what's actually going, but it's intercut with his children playing outside, and they're looking at all the smoke and they can smell the smoke and asking what it is. And they're kind of, you kind of hear their child perspective on what's going on, bad people, etc. But this was a particularly beautiful page. Just the layout I thought was really fantastic, and the line work on the figure there I thought was really incredible. Has kind of a manga feel to that page. But motherfucker, it's a grim story, because then he comes back home. He comes back home and has dinner with his family, and they sit, like, you know,
nothing happens.
The idea being that, you know, when these things are happening, when these horrors are happening in the world, it is just another human being who has a family, and there's a perspective. And so it does an amazing job. So, and then the last story there is part 2 of From Hell, which I haven't read. That's the only thing in here that I didn't read, because I want to wait to read the entire thing. Once I get issue number 2, I'll sit and read all of the From Hell stuff from Taboo. But that was a particularly good issue, though. So, but definitely not for the squeamish, I guess.
No wonder it's called Taboo, eh?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, he really hits home the premise. Like, I think he achieves what he set out to do. If he was setting out to achieve something that really gets you kind of like, it's not about like the visual horror at all. It's more about the psychological and putting yourself in a position and seeing the thing and putting yourself in that reality of the story that's particularly kind of horrific, you know. So they do a good job. He really curates a good group of artists. So
love it. I looked it up. Of course, since last video, I always check out eBay and check it out, curiosities. But yeah, the number 2 doesn't exist on eBay, whatever, my side of the world. But other ones are like 150 pounds for the number 1. It's like, whoosh. Yeah, so it's quite a pricey thing. So you're lucky enough to have those in your...
Yeah. I saw one lot on eBay. I think it was issues number 1 to 5 or something, but it was pretty pricey. So it would be a thing of like, that's probably how I would have to get it, because I didn't find any on its own either. There was 1 or 2 lots, I think, is what I saw. So it might be the thing where, well, I guess I buy them because then I can always sell the doubles, right? I can probably sell them locally here, you know. So
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but also all those fetishes and stuff like that would have like a plastic and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 Like sometimes when you read the stories like that, doesn't feel like, I don't know, for me sometimes I'm like, you just want like, oh no, I want to get away something, like let's read something really nothing, like happy go lucky something afterwards, because if it's well told, especially it's visual storytelling, at the end of the day, it sets in your mind quite quickly as well. So
Totally. Yeah.
so
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna show something very tame.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's great.
Yeah, so I went to the library. I didn't find much, to be honest. What was picking up my attention, but I guess it's a theme again for me. But Batman will be a theme. I mentioned him already, but because Gilliam Marsh is an art.
Yes.
Not everywhere, but he's there. So that's like, and of course James Tinian the fourth. So this is the first volume of his run, I presume.
Oh, awesome! Make yourself. Can you make yourself big again?
Sorry, I forgot.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
Somebody else. Damien, where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you? Anyway, so yeah, so this is the first book I kind of, because of the Gilliam Marsh first, of course, and James Tinian fourth. We have talking about it. You guys have been reading some of his stuff, like off not DC run, but that Lake
Black Label.
Thing. Yeah, Black Label, exactly, the Lake guy thing, which I haven't
nice house on the lake, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the name James Tinian seems to be a lot of in people's minds. So I thought maybe that's what rubs me on that stuff. And I read nice back cover. I guess it's this first appearance of this chick, almost like Harlequin sort of character. Anyway.
I see.
Yeah, and so that's Gilliam Marsh's first attempt. Okay, in this volume, I guess. Well, that's how I see it at the end of the day. So this is epilogue start where Joker is talking to his troops and stuff like that. Really good. And then that's his way of drawing Joker. Kind of say you can sense it. Okay, you can see kind of like his art style as well. Anyway, I read the first story so far. It begins like this. This is the thing, and it starts quite like so. I guess I don't know. I guess it's not spoiler alert, but I don't know if you're aware, but Alfred is dead.
Okay.
He's been killed. And I really like the scene. So Tony as Daniel, I think this is the artist. Yeah, I was right. But what bugs me a lot in this, okay, so this is hardcover, really nice edition, blah blah blah. The gutter loss is immense. It's absolutely shit. It's the way it's been bound. If you see, and if you see how much there's
dude,
and that's how
madness.
Yeah, so it doesn't at all opens up at all. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
So if you lose that, like almost 5 centimeters of the page.
Yeah.
A lot of it is not like, I guess it's designed correctly the way it is, but some of the panels are really bad. Like this panel, for example, is just like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, and it kind of takes away a little bit from it. But the setup of this first story is, so Batman is going to rebuild the Gotham, like another way of dealing with him, like how to solve the madness of the Gotham. So he's deciding to basically rebuild it. He needs more money. They're going, this Catwoman is helping him. She's going to Gala where the all expensive guys are. And basically there's the bad guys, and there's somebody, of course, Joker. They get sussy out, saying that somebody employed all the mercenaries to come after somebody, like Batman, I guess, presume. So Deathstroke, all this new chick, I forgot her name now. Then there's another one, some like nonchalant your mercenaries, which I forgot. I dabble in and out of the DC, so when it comes to villains of the Batman, I kind of like, okay, I know who they are sometimes, but when I have to explain, I was kind of like, it escapes my brain, basically what I'm trying to say. But it's really, so far it's interesting, they have a fight with Deathstroke. Batman, it's nice to see in here. Of course, Batman is still like on top of everything, but he's still like grieving. So he's called Lucius Alfred a couple of times, and he's like, "Okay, I'm so sorry," but he's creating this flight Batman way of like Batman plane kind of thing, like this. Here you can see in this side of it. But anyway, it's so far it's entertaining. It's very Batmanish, yet nothing too overly glued because I just read one first issue, let's say this way. But yeah, I'm curious. I mean, at the end of the day, I can find this in libraries, but Jesus, if I would buy this, I would be pissed if this is what kind of binding you provide for
totally
the reader. I mean, come on, look at how much it's the loss of it.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, we complain when we like just lightly we can open it, but this is like they are taking to the next level.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share that with you. And Damon is here. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Glue binders and hardbacks. Yeah, exactly. Tell that to DC Publishing House.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, so I found that which is when I find a hardback, especially over new stuff, it's always kind of like it takes my attention.
Yeah.
But then I decided I'm gonna tame a beast, I think.
Uh-oh.
So I found only one volume, and we're talking about Nightfall.
Hey, yeah. The classic.
Yeah, so this is the volume 3.
Kelly
so I'm
Jones.
already asking my library to send me to my local library first 2 volumes. So it's 1,200 pages.
Yeah.
That's my beast of the, I guess, month of May will be, which I'm going to attempt to do to partake. But I really like this paper, like a phone book. This is a phone book edition. And the paper is lovely. The coloring looks original. It even stains the paper, which is lovely.
Nice.
So this is, as I say, I only found physical at that time in that library of visits. I only found this volume 3, and I was like thinking, should I attempt just to read it, because it has story so far page, of course, like here. But I decided to go inside library and see if they have both 3 volumes, and they do. So I'm going to ask. I have to pay to do that for them to send me to local. But you know what? £1.20 per book won't hurt me much. I don't have to.
Yes, yeah.
I don't have to basically buy it if I let's say that way. But definitely, this is the beast of to go into, because I do know I even have a copy of Bane breaking the Batman's back. But those ears are monumental.
So good, yeah.
And so I'm gonna come after this. So it's an epic battle for sure, they say in here as well. But I've never read it, and it's part of the Batman history, and I think it's because of the great creators in here. And you guys talk a lot of it, so this is what my beast for month, I guess, will be. So hopefully I will tame it, not get fed up of it. But the paper is already drawing my attention. As you can see, great coloring of that era. I absolutely love it. I love the colors they used. I love the reds and the purples and the yellows. And then you have your robins and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna tame this piece. Hopefully I'll enjoy it. A lot of you guys said it's a
classic, man. It's a total classic. Yeah.
Yes. So this is what I'm gonna tame.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it will be, as I say, hopefully it will be great. I like Batman, but I need to find out some of the other things rather than new stuff. I have new ones, as I say, I can read that as well, but this is it. So library is doing great things for me. So I'm really happy with that. So
I don't know if it was in that run or if it was just after it. I don't remember the time frame of it, but there's some Kelly Jones, because Kelly Jones also does an incredible Deadman. And there's a couple of the Batman titles where it's Batman and Daredevil in the same issues. There's 2 or 3 issues, I think there are, but and the only statue that I ever had was it was Kelly Jones Batman as a statue, and because of those long ears, I love that look as well. The first thing that broke off were those fucking ears because they were so long and flimsy, right? So, but it happened. So eventually it left the house, but I sold it or something or whatever I did, right? But it was beautiful. Like his Batman, his Deadman, they really were very, very unique. Yeah, I mean, there's on the door there, that's his Deadman there, right? So it's great. Wow.
Yeah, so as I say, it's just the creators in a Duck Bench. It's really good in there, as well as I've part of the artists as well. So it's just like as I say, I'm discovering the world still, even after like so many years of reading comic books.
Hmm.
There's so much to read. There's so much thing.
Absolutely.
So this is the one thing I always had in my mind, always, because like a fan of the kind of like this universe. At the end of the day, I always was curious to see what's going to happen and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's good to see sometimes. Like sometimes it catches your eyes. It just goes into the motion, and you're like, okay, why not?
Yeah,
But
totally.
it's like I looked it up. It's like 600 pages each. Like, whoa, man, that's a
Uh-huh.
lot. I mean, it's even more than Invincible. I think I read, as far as I remember. But yeah,
Yeah,
that
no, I
was
mean, it was a huge event and it crossed over a bunch of the titles. And, at one point I had all the single issues and, but I've since traded all of those away. But
yeah. It goes into Batman itself, the Shadow of the Bat run, then Detective comic books, then the Legends of the Dark Knight, and the
yeah,
Robin, and then the Catwoman. So it's like all the stuff.
yeah, huge crossover event. Yeah.
No, I heard of it, Sword of Azrael, but I've not. I don't think I have read it yet. But I would have remembered it.
I think
Otherwise,
correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, was that around the same time too? Because I know that's part of that Nightfall, and then there was Night Quest, all of
mm-hmm.
those kind of things. Like it might have all been part of that same huge storyline, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's talking about something different.
Oh, we'll see. Maybe he's
Yeah.
gonna tell. Thank you for telling us in advance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what I have other things I read for sure, but I just wanted to share this with my library. I always enjoy going to libraries. It's entertaining, and then I'm surprised what they say they would have in the library, but they don't. It's like, so you say it's in that library, but why don't you have it on display? So sometimes
Right.
like interesting and entertaining, but it's always good to visit. I always go to library because I just need to support them, and this kind of like getting them to deliver something to me and pay them, not a problem, because at the
Yeah.
end of that where the money goes. So
Yeah.
it's
Totally.
yeah.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Oh, don't recall how much later. He says it leads
Oh yeah.
into
Okay.
Nightfall, serving as intro into Azure. Oh, okay.
Okay. Cool.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So it's your turn, isn't it? Your turn.
Yeah. Let's do this one. I think there's a couple of people that have talked about it, and it's been on my radar for a while.
Yep.
And then I can't remember if it was Joan and Jello or if it was Earl Grey. I don't remember who the last video I was talking about it. This Strangers Publishing, Dear Mother and Other Stories by Vanu Pratap, I believe is how you pronounce that. So this is from 2021. So Strangers started as like a fanzine, like a comic fanzine, like in print. And then they started getting into publishing. And this is one that caught my eye. I'm a huge, huge, huge Francis Bacon fan, like the painter Francis Bacon. I have been for an awful long time. And there's so much here that reminds me of Francis Bacon. It's a few stories. But the thing, and honestly, I can't really tell you too much about the story because I don't think I quite understood what was going on. And I was so absorbed in this art. But there's definitely some fetishistic and kink behavior in here, and not body horror like Cronenberg type stuff, but there's definitely that element to the physicality of a human being. But the way he draws figures, let's see if I can find. There was one particular. Yeah, here we go. Like this stuff, a guy on the floor, like it's so cool. It is so amazing. And those hands coming at you, really impressive. I want to see a lot more work. There was another one. Yeah, here we go. I thought this one was really impactful. Like to me, that is that's exactly right. I think you're right, Damien. To me, that's a woman crying. That is a woman in grief. You know what I mean? There's something about the sort of way her hand is melting into her face, and the tears are all over in the puddle. Like there's a real impact to this work here. And then it also has these moments that are almost cartoony. Like that's a very kind of classic comic strip style character who's getting mad with the hat floating off his head and, almost looking like olive oil there, so it's a really incredible mix of these kind of styles. And the other thing I love about it is, let me find a good couple of pages. I also like the layout too. So for 4 panels per page. You get this space top and bottom. It almost has a feel to like Chester Brown, the way he uses a page and uses a lot of the white space and things. I'm assuming that that's a side effect of how these were originally published, but I don't know the backstory to these stories. I don't know where they first appeared. But then you also get a page like this, you know, that's kind of wrapping up this one of these stories before we get into the next one. And again, you know, just like a huge black square for the end. So there's a lot of really interesting comics language and a lot of just great abstract art going on here. Like this is like a Michael DeForge panel or something, you know, like it's really impressive. And it's a nice kind of square bound magazine size. There's no page count on it, but it's really, I'm really impressed. I've looked through it a few times. I need to read it a couple of more times to fully understand. But like this is great too. Those two figures there together. Really beautiful stuff. So if you don't know Strangers, like check out the website. He's published quite a bit of stuff now. And then there's the back cover. He's published quite a bit of stuff at this point, but like I said, this is one that's been on my radar for quite a while. So it's the only thing that I ordered just because, again, like shipping is just so goddamn expensive. And his shipping to get to Canada was pretty intense. So as soon as I wanted to order like 2 or 3 books, it skyrocketed in shipping price. So I just did the one book and it got here pretty quickly. It was in great shape, but I don't quite know how some of the shops have their shipping set up because it was a really dramatic shift from 1 to like 3 books, right?
Yeah.
Because normally if I'm going to order from someplace in the States, I'll order a few comics because it's just worth it. You know, it's the same price for shipping if I order 3 or if I order 1. So, but this one wasn't the case. So you might be able to find it other places too.
That's crazy how you deal with your shipping still.
Yeah.
It's like just down there, man.
I know.
Maybe it's more for you to cross the border more often then. What do you think?
Well, that's the thing. There's a place just across the border. It's called Pembina. And there's a couple of post offices there that's just across the border. And there's a lot of guys locally. When we used to order absinthe from overseas, when it couldn't be shipped into Canada, a friend of my brother's used to have a P.O. box in Pembina, get everything shipped there because you could ship it to the States. Then you just go on a couple-hour trip, cross the border, get your stuff, come back. So I've thought about doing that because the one place I looked at, you can fill it up. Like once you have something in your P.O. box, you don't need to come right away to get it. If you want to wait 3 months and build up a stack of stuff, you can do that. Because oftentimes in the States, you can get stuff, as Damien well knows, you can get stuff for free. So you don't have to open an account with them. You just put the address to their place. Then they'll stockpile it for you. And then eventually you can come down and grab it. So I've actually seriously been considering that lately because it seems like the shipping from the States to Canada just is getting more and more every day, where when I ship stuff to the States, it's still the same price for me to do it. Our prices haven't changed, and it's all pretty cheap to ship stuff down there, depending on how you pack it, obviously, right? But I'm really considering opening a P.O. box and just getting shit shipped to there. And then once every couple months, just go down and pick up a bunch of stuff, you know, pay the minimal fee and get it sorted.
Yeah, just make sure you don't overpay for your P.O. boxes because I heard that as well. People are...
Yeah.
I mean, I've just seen from other YouTubers, I guess, talking about the P.O. boxes and stuff like that. So Rick Ray says he picked up the Dead Nuts and
Disco Levante. Yeah, I think Disco Levante was one that was on my list that I was going to grab. Cool.
Oh. Hopefully you can somehow sort it. Yes, our poster is getting crazy. Okay. Well, there you go. That's maybe...
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy for you guys. And they in America, especially, they get like problems with the shipping. They don't come in the right directions. Like, Joseph is the most talkative about that because he's always having to debate about how when he's gonna get his comic books or the right is gonna arrive, which is hilarious. If you don't follow him on Twitter, just check it out. Sometimes
and sometimes like I'll track some packages that are coming to me, and it'll start its way towards me, and then all of a sudden it get detoured like out east or west coast. And be like, why the fuck is it going that way? And then it goes to another shipping center that then it starts going back south again. It's like, what the fuck is going on? How is this getting rerouted all across the country just to get up to me? You know, like send it north.
One direction, please.
Yeah, that's right. Just
Follow
straight
your
up.
bloody thing. You have technology.
Yeah.
Of sat navs going around anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not? So finally I can say the saga
Hey.
Ronin is finally done.
Nice. I'm just gonna grab some more water while you're talking about this one. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problems. I'll put that. So it's done finally. 5 notoriously expensive ish things you have to purchase if you are at all a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And honestly, I was really saying quite I was disappointed, I think, on issue. So I'll show you the covers first. So the cover, this is very glary. So issue number 1, the issue number 2, and I think I started to kind of like switch off from issue number 3 somehow. But it's thankfully what I did. I purposely did not read number 4 because I was thinking, okay, let's see if it's gonna go and blah blah blah. And then we getting into number 5, which is the last one. So I read them kind of close to each other, very close to each other, and it was rewarding. I tell you guys, I'm a huge fan of this, the universe in generally, and it was very slow at the beginning, but it ended to the point where I think it gave the people some ending if they wanted to have the ending for Turtles. It wasn't the most enjoyable ending because of the things, but the way they end, which I'm definitely not gonna spoil it, because I think it was if you are a fan of these characters, you definitely wanted to get into the end of it. But it's for a fan, it definitely was a moment of which is great, and sometimes you need that because we have still ongoing run of Teenage Mutant Turtles for sure. They're not going to end in a while because it's a successful run for creators, and hopefully they're going to continue for a while. As a fan, I'm been investing in this run for 70 odd issues now, so, and I'm continuing further forward that, and so. And that's the page. That's the picture I was choosing as a front page for this video. So our Michelangelo Last Ronin is struggling, big time struggling. He hears his brothers talking to him while he has to deal with this situation, and the same feud is continued. So we have the feud between two families, which continue to a demise of Turtles, and we only have one left to fight. The last fight at the end of the day, and but we have him struggling throughout all these 5 issues to get to the point where he finally gonna get that last fight he was so willing to get. It took him 15 years in hideout because when his brothers and his dad perished, he was escaping. He was looking his own answers to himself because he was grieving and losing them in battle. They also explained how the deaths happened to Splinter, in particularly in Donatello, which was very interesting. I think maybe it's a bit too short. Maybe we was trying to rush this because people were impatient when you're going to get to the point of this storyline, because the publishing and getting you into your hands took them quite a while in between the issues. So yeah, it took a lot of patience and a lot of money. Like one issue is $8.99 per, but these are square bound. This is like those special edition issues and extra pages and stuff like that. But yeah, so and then he wants to get to this. So family, one of the grandsons, I guess, of Splinter, not Splinter. Oh, now I'm Shredder. I'm almost gonna, choke up a little bit because knowing how the ends and stuff like that. So, but we have a new character. So it's April's daughter. So Casey's and April's daughter. She's going to be part of the storyline. It's not a bit of a spoiler, but because I'm not telling you how and what's her point of the story is. But honestly, I think how wonderful is this universe in general is. If you care about the characters, if you grow up with them, whatever moment you started with them, like cartoon animations like I did, or the comic books itself with Eastman and Laird, the original ones. But it's look, it's an investment. I think it's in single issues a bit way too much. I think I overspend it, but as a true fan, let's say this way, as much as that goes, I really enjoyed it. I had my reward at the end. As I say, I'm not trying to tell you too much of it, because there is interesting parts of it, and so, a lot of things going on in his head and his turmoil. But she's a glimmer of light for him, and how he has to deal with everything else, because he's came back to New York. He came back to take over, and not take over, but take back what it was before, for all of the creatures in New York who are living, mutants or non-mutants. So very good for me. I guess it really helped for me to read those two issues kind of very close to each other, because it really does kind of help to you have a bit more perspective. So, but as a whole trade, I think it would be far entertaining. It goes through some stuff. As I say, first three issues were very kind of slow. I don't think they were going plot-wise very strongly, but then they picked up, it seems to be, and for me it got a win. So which is, I was very relieved, because I was reading, I was like, oh my god, this is it. Like, hopefully I'm gonna get it. But yeah, it's very good. So
that's cool.
I'm very happy with that. So I don't know, I'm trying not to oversell this stuff, because definitely people are gonna have loads of opinions. But this is, as for the fan, for me it was great. I got something I wanted in a way, but not the ending maybe I was hoping for them, because you always wanted, like bouquet of flowers throwing at them. Oh yeah, you're the hero of the world.
Yeah.
You want that good life 100% and stuff like that. But yeah, it's whatever happens in there, it's okay, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then to be continued, which is interesting.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I guess they didn't want it to completely perish the idea of what they're writing. Whenever I wanted to show it to you, of course, they have ads at the end of the books. And where is that ad I saw, which would be entertaining for you or for me? Or was it in another one? I think it was in another IDW thing I read. I'm just going to show it to you, because I started talking. Yeah, it's the other one.
Oh, yeah. Sweet Rocketeer. Artist edition, yeah?
Yeah, they're coming out.
Fuck yeah.
Years anniversary.
Amazing.
Yeah, and whoever is a big fan of G.I. Joe, like we know, they're coming out with a collected edition of that. Which is crazy, because Larry Hama died, and then the first number one issue went just skyrocketed to in some points, like more than what people knew existed, kind of thing. If you're not G.I. Joe world, like you have the Costa DC comic books or Dr. Monkeybot. Those are absolutely possessed with G.I. Joes. So I saw that one, it's like I was thinking about those two guys, because they probably like jumping off like a fan.
Yeah, no, totally. I guarantee.
Yeah. So
just on that last run, and I looked through it a few times when I saw it in the shop.
Yeah.
So I think it might be one that, like they're saying in the chat as well too, like waiting for when it all gets collected. I may end up picking up, because I was enjoying, like when I flipped through it, I almost bought it a few times and figured I should just wait though.
Yeah, I highly not recommend to get them in singles. There's still lots of money to push through.
Yeah,
I bet they're going to come out with very nice hardcovers. They are well known for very good hardcovers. They probably will come out something nice. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If I'm not going to jinx that, but and like this with Squarebound comics, also you have some sort of like like if it's finicky. You have got a loss as well. If you can show like because you see the bend, and that's a bit, but. As a fan, I committed to 1, committed to 2, committed to 3, and I was like, come on, I have to commit all the way through. So I did.
Yeah.
It's gonna be part of me. Like, like I guess it's the same thing. What happens when the Batman comes out with all this stuff like that? And if you are a fan of that kind of creations, it's just a pity they charge you so much. But they do a lot of work. I mean, it's not your 20 pages, and they don't have ads at all. Only at the end.
That's beauty. I love that the most.
Yeah, so you have like next cover of Eastman, the cover which I didn't collect that. I wanted the normal ones anyway.
Yeah.
And you have just at the end, and then your slew of covers. You
Oof. Yeah.
have your choice for one.
Holy shit, man.
And yeah, it's each of them like have. I mean, whatever your taste is. I mean, there's like
Yeah, they cover everybody.
yeah,
They
like
want everybody's money.
yeah, like yeah. So I mean, as I say, like Mike Roof, like JB Styles. I don't even know some of them, kind of thing. You know, like a Ben Bishop or Justin Roiland. As I say, there's so many covers of your choice as well. I guess they were trying to rake it in as a little bit, but yeah. For a fan, as I say, I was happy it ended first because of the money wise I had to spend, but the story was great. I
Yeah,
was
cool.
happy in my little heart of mine, saying, "Oh, my turtles are okay," kind of thing in my
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just
Do
nice.
you know if Matt Wednesday Serial has been reading it and what his thoughts are? Because he's a huge Turtles fan too, isn't he?
I have not seen him talk about it,
Oh,
and
okay.
whatever he is, he does mention. I know. Remember, he's showed some hardcovers, collected editions, even though he was reading before that. But I don't know if he has. Do you, Damon? Maybe can tell us more because I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Whatever I subscribe to his channel, so whatever he's been putting out, I was always looking forward to see. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he spoke much about this. I'm not sure. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's because a lot of people were pissing about it because it took so long to come into the point. You know,
Oh, okay.
to actually get you in the hands. Delays. First issue came out, and then it was like 3 or 4 months delays until the second issue came out. It was just bad decision on their part because
Yeah,
it's difficult because it's quite a lot of story we're trying to churn out to tell you what the end would be like, whatever, of that poor Michelangelo. But
yeah.
yeah, you see, he hasn't mentioned it lately,
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah,
as I say. But yeah, I wonder what he would say because he's a huge fan as well.
yeah.
In some ways our opinions kind of differ, but Turtles, the main run, I think it's always been, for me, it's dipping.
Oh,
There's
yeah. Okay.
lots of high, and then you can't have them 100% always going for it.
Totally. Yeah,
Always have some quiet moments, but when they go up, they do go up really nicely, and they introduce
yeah.
something crazy. So
That's cool. Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, very nice.
So I guess then keeping sort of with the theme,
Oh yes,
one of the books from my 50 cent
uh-huh.
comic box dig, this Sword of the Samurai.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
Dude, again, like the whole, I mean, we've said it so often, but like looking through these dollar bins and 50 cent bins,
Uh,
there's some fucking gold out there. This
oh,
one was so it was so good. I really, really liked it. So there's two stories in it. This
mhm,
first one here is Pencils and Inks by Cato. I think it's Gary Cato.
mhm,
He worked in a bunch of comics, including like being the assistant for Beatty. Is it Terry Beatty in Ms. Tree? He
mhm.
was his assistant on Ms. Tree as well. This is a really, really great book. There was only the one issue. So this first story I thought was pretty incredible. So first thing I point out is I love the look of all that fill in blacks there. I love kind of the texture on the edges and things. That's a kind of a Nino kind of thing
Mhm.
for me. That chunky just blocking in the black sections. Um, this was a like the stories themselves didn't kind of go in a direction that was like, oh my god, that's the best story I've ever written, but it was really, really well told. There was just a couple of wonky moments like this. That arm already looks a little long, and then you go into this panel, it's like someone else is kind of crouching in front of him and holding the sword up. So there's a couple of funny things that end up happening in the panels, but
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that just gives it more character.
Uh-huh.
So this one is kind of two warring factions, and they go and they kill this one faction and burn down their temples and things.
Mhm.
And they get revenge by coming back and killing the samurai's child, burning him. Where's the page here? So yes, he comes back to realize what's happened, and
Mhm.
his wife is mourning and is in grief, and kind of tells him. And then this next page, in my kind of life of now being interested in looking at pages in a different way, this is a page that I would love to own. So this page I thought was so well told that I read the entire page, And then I got to the end. I'm like, why has he gone off on his own? Where is his wife? And then I went back to the top of the page and just very subtle, well, maybe not subtly, but the way the story was going, I kind of didn't follow this. And it's right here. She ends up killing herself as he's walking out the door.
Oh,
I thought
no.
it was a really well told and a really nice kind of story page with some beautiful layouts. And so then it just becomes like a revenge story. And I won't do any spoilers. But it's I was pretty impressed with this one. I thought this was a lot of fun. So that one was good on its own. And then we get a backup story called The Promise by San-Ho Kim, who did the Yang series. So it's ghostly tales from the haunted house. So I imagine this is a reprint. I'm guessing is that a Charlton book? I'm guessing. This was a really fun read as well, mainly because his style, his art style, I really like. The storytelling was great. It's again, it was one of those, like, it follows some basic tropes of some of these kind of horror stories, does a twist that then has another twist, you know. One of the things that also happens is you get the mix of the original, I guess it's Korean, on the page, and they also do the translation as well, which I haven't seen before. And that creates a couple of really nice moments. Let me just find, that creates a couple of nice moments just to see kind of the way that looks up here. I love the look of that. And I love the look of these wavy lines there. So really such a good book. Almost to by the time I finished reading it, I almost had the same kind of thrill that I had after reading The Young Master the first time when I found that series and the Master. I love these kind of stories already, so I'm already a sucker for it. You've already sold me. But this black and white art, I think, is beautiful. So, yeah, and this San-Ho Kim, it makes me think, like, I need more Yang comics. I've only got a few of them. They don't pop up that much. But I really need to dig and start looking for more of those and really get into that story. Because if this is any indication, I love this panel here, too. Really nice. With that white space creeping through I'm assuming that's some sort of screen because of the dots there. So... And that silhouette stuff there is really nice too. So yeah, man, check those 50-cent bins, check the dollar bins, and just take a chance. I'm so glad I took a chance and grabbed this. A hell of a fun read. And I have some extra bags and boards. So the funny thing for me is, I guess somebody had a Mylar in a comic that I bought from them. So I ended up using a Mylar sleeve for a 50-cent book. The bag and the board is more expensive than the damn book. Because I've run out of just bags where I can just stuff stuff in bags.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to combine stuff. And I don't want to buy any more, right? So
yeah,
trying to keep my eyes out for what I can grab from other people who I'm buying books from.
So that I'm looking now because you always show something, and especially I am having a very nice kick of the samurai stuff because like the Robin and Usagi and all that stuff, and you show those. Of course, I don't find 50B bins because I don't go like that's like. So if you find any copy, especially for 50p, keep aside for me one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that page you were showing, Jesus, I would have that plastered on my point of view. It's really good, especially
it was just really good because I was so into the flow of the story that it was nice to kind of get to a point and then go back and see something. Like, that's never really happened. I've missed stuff before. Like, you sometimes miss things, but this was a really different, it had a different effect reading through that page. And just kind of the way he just leaves, like, the son is dead. Who cares about the mother? Like, it sends that kind of message, right? Like, this is now a guy he's incredibly focused. He was already focused on this other gang of people that he then went to annihilate. But now he's hyped. Now he's got something new to focus on where he can not participate in a family life. And there's no need for me here now. Now I've got to go and do this mission. It was really well told. Yeah, really nice moment,
So I don't know if you're talking about this last drawing size of edition, but I'll compare it to you for you to copy of the comic. It is bigger.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Hey, yeah.
Yeah, so it's had
okay.
quite a chunk of bigger. So it's odd as well. So my comic book guy puts it in magazine and he folds the bag up inside. So this is the only way I get my magazine bags. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like really chunky, but I put them together, and because they are such a format, you don't need the board at all because
Mhm.
it's still heavy cardstock and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm just off my shelves is here. Hello.
Hello.
Right now, the safest is unique.
Yeah, Vagabond. I've never read any issues of Vagabond. I know the book, but I haven't read one.
Yeah. So yeah, summarize. Very good. And
Yeah.
and I'm gonna continue with the theme, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll talk about this. So we having this continued story of, well, longer than a kid, but it's actually the story called Blood Wings. So remember, a while ago was like of the issue before that I was talking about those bats and with the swords. So they get captured. So Usagi gets captured, of course, and we saw these great panels. The last issue was where he's been flown away by them, so he's in the cave and he's been kind of a little bit tortured by or pushed aside with our samurais. But this story, once again, a winner. Stan Sakai and his Usagi is really good, this one. So he, of course, is reprinted, so people who has read Usagi, you definitely knows it. I really like this interaction with these two guys. So basically, the whole story from previous issue was Usagi goes into village. Village tells them you can't leave because there's this band of criminals who is basically killing us if we leave our villages because there's a gold mine. So these people are who is doing. They're gonna transport the gold mines, and the whole thing, Shabang, is to protect or steal the gold. So that's why the villagers gets murdered before just leaving because they don't want the messages to be passed along. And those two say, "Oh, I see something great bird in the sky." And it's like, "Dude, douchebag, don't lie. This is just a kind of like a fairy tale. Are you crazy? Just continue doing your job." And they have the same back for quite a few pages, and it's fantastic. This kind of storytelling helps so much for the story because it just gives you a humor part and seriousness part, and it gives you a reward at the end of the day. And then so Usagi is trying to escape, and he does, thankfully, of course, because it wouldn't be Usagi. And then it's very good storyline. It continues to be as entertaining as ever, and I think it's very quite strong, to be honest. Like, I'm really glad I'm continuously picking up this, even though I could like just continue having the ongoing series, but it's really brilliantly told. And it's just always a treat and always a big huge smile at the end of it. I just, like the story goes in through, of course, some more Aoi Sagyo Jimbo deals with them, but what happens to these bat characters, creatures, we still don't know, because it kind of gives you a kind of like coming through to something else is coming through. So whoever has actually read it before this, all the stories, you probably know what's happening to them. For me, is will be a revealed maybe later on, whatever is going to be published. But absolutely, once again, lots of actions. And funny enough, the bow and arrow, he's killed as well. Who knew, eh? Very good with swords, but he's great with bow and arrow as well. And the villagers have got enough courage and helped Usagi as well to basically defeat those bats. And it was great, even though we have some loose losses. Of course, deaths in here, but the way he's showing the deaths is kind of hilarious. You see that skull next to them, that the character has actually died. So very entertaining, absolutely fantastic. If you, I don't know, it just works for me so nicely. And whatever I've been buying from him so far, sometimes it's kind of like you're not sure where it's going, but this story, like two stories in 2 issues, very good. They
Yeah.
very have a good bond together, and it's just like it works really well. And stands
That's
apart.
cool.
I don't know if he can do wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So far, anything I read is, it seems very simple, like very simple storytelling, simple art style, but just such a rewarding thing. I know maybe it's because it's so cleverly done with the panels, never confusing, always very kind of easy to follow. It's like easy flow, easy for your brain.
Mhm.
And it's just so entertaining. It just gives you a smile at the end of the day. So such a great book to have in your pull list, I think, because sometimes, like you read and you're like, oh, I have to wait another month. And this one is like, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
I look forward to that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Good.
Has anybody watched the show yet? Has it started airing?
Yeah, so I wanted to click, but I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I could, but I just I was hesitant. I didn't like the way he looks. I don't like the way he looks.
Yeah, no, the style doesn't look that appealing. I'm going to give it a try, but I haven't done it yet either.
I will watch it. I will watch. I'm gonna even try to watch. I'll see myself. I don't know the age group they are tending for that. I want to, of course, introduce that to my son because he likes swords and he goes crazy a little bit after that. But I'm not sure what age group they are talking about. Well,
yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
But Usagi, a comic book is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The TV show, just forget about it.
Yeah.
Books, the collected editions, there are so many of them now. You can even the color ones as well. So there's always a trade to pick it up. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, I've got to get the next volume. I'm finished that. I mean, I've been finished that first volume for a while now, but I've got to continue on with it. I got to keep up with it.
Or
That's right. I got the black and white one. Yeah.
The bigger tone ones.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I want to do black and white. I really like color.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I've been spoiled from the start, and it's like just really nice. Even though
the color looks really good, no doubt.
Yeah, and I like. I mean, the black and white looks great, to be honest, but difficult to adjust, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for black and white anyway, and then it sort of, for me, it sort of gives it the feel of like, like that one I was just showing, that sort of the samurai, it gives it a different kind of feel than the color, but the color looks great though.
Of my shows have watched it. My kids loved it a lot.
Kids loved it. Awesome.
Oh, it's not my Usagi, but it's certainly for some people who love it. Okay.
Well, that's good to know.
Well, I'm definitely going to watch now.
Yeah. So I was going to watch it tonight, but Lillian's going out to a movie with a couple of her friends. So maybe I'll wait until she gets back and watch it with her.
She's too busy for that time.
Yeah, she's too busy. That's right. She's got friends to hang out with. Whatever. They're not as cool as her dad is.
Oh my God, these kids they just have their own life. Suddenly just turn 5 or 7. It's like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
No more. You can forget about me hugging you and kissing you anytime.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing I will say. She's still very cuddly with me. So yeah, there's lots of smooching that goes on. Yeah, she's very cuddly. So it's great.
Always black and white.
Sacrilege, absolutely.
What do you apologize? How many not Bloody Marys, but how many Marys do I have to say?
You gotta turn around and look in a mirror with the lights off. Isn't that what it was? Turning around 3 times or something?
Oh, I don't know. My mom says if it's like something you do wrong, just take a bit of salt and just chuck it.
Salt, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know
Hilarious.
what does that do, but hey, superstitious people.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. What's next? Another samurai?
So no, not another samurai, but continuing with black and white though.
Ooh,
so I joined up Colin Blanchett loading the canon. He invited me to, there's a group that they have on Discord of people that collect like original art and stuff. So he's starting to rope me into that. And one of the, I'm kidding, obviously, my own choice. But one of the conversations at the beginning when I kind of like got introduced there, people were asking about pages that I would like to have or artists I'd like to collect. And I started kind of thinking of names. And one of the names that jumped out at me was Dennis Fujitaki. I would love to have some, because he did the Dalgota series. And I love the Dalgota series. So I would love to get a Dalgota page. And it reminded me that I still had this on the shelves that I haven't read yet. So it's Children of the Night Tide. It's 2 stories written by Jan Sternad. And then one is Dennis Fujitaki on art, and the other is Tim Soliday on art. So I got this off the shelves, and this was entertaining. It was good. I mean, it's not the Fujitaki art that I'm used to. It's still really nice stuff, but there's a different kind of quality to his work in this story. So this is about a mother and son dragon, and this dragon wants to go kind of explore the world, and the mother's like, no, a dragon's place is with their treasure. You live and you die, guarding your treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, really. Hey, there was a couple of people in that group that liked Dalgota as well as soon as I mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's pretty damn rare. Um, so she's kind of trying to convince him, no, a dragon's place is here. There's nothing out there for you. You live surrounded by your stuff, and then you die surrounded by your stuff.
Oh, wow.
So of course he doesn't listen, and he goes off on his own and
Uh-huh.
starts. And you think it's funny how these kind of twists sometimes happen, because you think of like, I automatically go back to kind of a Disney-esque type of, oh,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to go out, he's going to interact with humans, he's going to make some friends. And it's like, no, he's going to go and he's going to sink some fucking boats. He's going to eat some sailors. You know what I mean? So he goes out to terrorize. Like, that's what he's doing, set people on fire. So it was pretty great for that little twist there.
Yeah.
And I won't go too much further with it, but he sort of has some epic battles that he kind of, this is a great panel, him surveying his ocean there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, yeah, exactly, Scott. It was pretty good. These panels, I really like these panels too. I love that the tone, like the gradation on that is really nice. And then the second one is called Goblin Child, and it's art by Tim Soliday, and the name doesn't mean anything to me. I wasn't immediately sold on it, but I think this was the better story out of the two. This was a really good story. It's a little more than half of the book too. This was an exceptionally good story. This woman who's kind of living with the king or the lord of the land or whatever, she's having a baby, and she leaves the house to go and live with this guy that she's in love with. And this baby hasn't been christened yet. And there's these goblins that they're getting ready to give a gift of a life to the devil. They have to do every once in a while. Once a year, I think is what it is, or I don't remember how they presented in here, once a cycle or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they say before your child gets christened, be careful. Like the night before is when the goblins come, because the one thing that's worth a lot to the devil is a newborn child as a sacrifice. So you can see them there breaking into the house. They end up stealing the baby, but one of the goblins stays behind and kind of says, that I'll help you get your child back. And the whole thing is about like goblins and this emotion that humans have called love that we don't understand and we don't have any time for. It's such a well-told story. There's so many kind of twists and turns where you don't know how much you should be trusting this goblin. Then you start trusting him, and then there's a little bit of a twist. And I loved it. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this story, because like I said, the first kind of half a dozen pages, I was having a problem kind of getting into it. I wasn't sold on the art. But once I started getting more into the story, I really loved the art as well. I think it presents it all in this kind of, not kind of gothic isn't the right word, but it does have a kind of texture to it, that kind of gives it an older feel, so
Yeah.
really nice surprise. I won't go too much further than that, but there's just some really nice panels. Like I love that one a lot. All of that black on the page and stuff, or the grays rather. So yeah, this is an older Fantagraphics book. It came out in, when did it come out? March 1986. Hey, look at that. The infamous 1986. Yeah. Yeah, so it's well worth finding. It took me quite a while to find it, because I had kind of a list of Dennis Fujitaki stuff on my phone to just keep an eye out for. So this one took me quite a while to find it, but keep your eyes open if you do come across it. It's definitely more fantasy, which isn't always my bag, but it worked pretty well. I thought it was great.
Oh, everything is in America. Oh, damn you.
Yeah.
And the postage, like £20, like you mad. I mean,
Oof.
the comic book doesn't cost that much. You want £20.
Yeah. Hey, I meant to ask you last time, has the Comic Mart started up again in London, or?
I think so. I don't check because.
Oh, you haven't checked?
No. I mean, I checked once, and then they are open.
Okay.
Temptation. I'm trying not to tempt myself going into London, such a big city at the moment yet. I mean, the rules haven't been completely gone now. A lot of things open up, and a lot of people
Right.
do stuff they want. But I'm still kind of, I'm not fully wary. I'm trying to open that up, but like kind of, just go out there. It takes time for. It's the same like.
Totally.
I bet you would be going to see the Doctor Strange in cinema. I presume.
I'm 100% going. Yeah.
I really want first. Second, I don't know if we have anybody to take care of our child. That's the only thing. When we live not around anywhere, like family or friends quite far away, and that we could really find it, but it's very. I really want to see it in. Think, oh
no! You really want to see it? Sorry, I'm listening. You really want to see it? In the
theater? Really want to see it in cinema because Doctor Strange just looks like he should be watched in cinema.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure yet. So I'm kind of in that kind of boat where I want to go and do stuff, which everybody seems to be okay doing it, but I don't know, something is just stopping me. I guess I'm just a bit paranoid still.
I mean, but the thing is, it's not like we haven't been in this for 2 years. So I think that's a big part of it, right? You start to, there's a readjustment to get into the pandemic kind of mindset. There's going to be a readjustment coming out of it 100%. And I mean, it's not like it's totally gone away. At this point, I feel fairly comfortable. I have for a little while. And again, like when we went to see this movie yesterday, like I said, there was 8 people in the entire theater. So it really wasn't even a concern. Like we weren't sitting shoulder to shoulder with somebody by any stretch, right? So there was a lot more room to space yourself. But yeah, I mean, we're going to see Doctor Strange, hopefully opening weekend, right? Yeah, I mean, that's the plan, right? Because I'm going to a movie today. I know you are. Yeah. What are you seeing today?
The Bad Guys.
The Bad Guys. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
I just found out that Eleanor, Kira, Anya.
Yeah.
6 people.
6. Oh my gosh, that's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
Already party in cinema.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, we've got one close by our house, and it's huge. It's not IMAX size, but it's a pretty big theater. So, yeah.
I'm gonna have lunch. Dinner, and then we're gonna get going.
Sounds good. Come say goodbye before you leave if I'm not off yet. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to see it though. I'm really looking forward because it's something I want to see that one in the theater. I've got to see Doctor Strange in the theater. I think it'll be worth it. But just going back to the Comic Mart thing that you were saying, because that's a place, didn't they have 50p and £1 boxes kind of thing? Is that, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have.
Yeah.
I need to make an excuse, like to actually. I mean, come on. I think you. I don't know how you feel in Canada, but I heard America is the same thing. In UK, the fuel prices are massive. Like my husband just filled up, spent £100. We never did that. We never reached that far. It's too much.
Yeah.
And you have to take into account if it's worth it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's part of your extracurricular entertainment. It's not like you need to buy a bread.
Right. I hear that. Yeah, I hear you.
I'm very much of that kind of sense at the moment. So it's like, does my son need this or something?
Yeah.
Because
we can go on a day trip. Yeah. I hear you.
What I mean? So I wasn't in London a couple of times, to be honest, and because of the family and stuff coming and arriving and going and stuff like that. But yeah, London is massive. There's so many. I get so tired. It's because I'm living in the sticks. I'm a village person kind of thing.
Yeah.
The population of my village is like, it's not really a village. It's a kind of 2,000 people, which is quite a lot. I mean, but still, comparing to London, where it's 10 million inside, so like you can see the difference. So yeah, it becomes quite tiring, and get to that point after all this shabacle is kind of difficult because people in London they shove you around. It's everything so fast.
Yeah, it's a different mindset. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been there, but
time to just do I want to get there? Do I want to be here and rest? Like comic books sometimes really worth it, and I used to be absolutely enjoying myself. I used to have the best time of meeting Dr. Monkeybot and all that stuff. It's absolutely fantastic place to go and find deals for sure.
Yeah.
Looking back now and just looking at this stupid online stuff, it makes me angry because I just can't find sometimes the deals. It's a long job to do that basically. But
totally.
I would love to go to Comic Mart, absolutely. But there's factors I have to take into account.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of things, but I'm looking forward to. I don't want to get spoiled, so we have to make a decision about the Doctor Strange movie I'm talking about now again.
Yeah.
Because that's everywhere. They even Twitter showed some people like in Comic Cons. They showed some clips for more than.
Oh,
10
really? Okay.
Apparently, there's lots of things going on there. I didn't watch.
Oh shit! Yeah.
First couple of lines, like, okay, don't even look at it. Just scroll away.
Yeah.
Nothing to be spoiled. But
well,
yeah,
I'm thankful none of that has shown up in my feed. I haven't seen any of that, thankfully. So I'll keep that in mind and quickly scroll by anytime I see.
Yeah, because there's Comic Cons now in USA. So and there's quite a few of them going out, and they're talking about the movies because they get featured like more than 15 minutes. Apparently, you can watch.
Oh wow, jeez.
So that's quite a lot of information you can disclose to people.
Shit, yeah.
About it. So, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of things there. A lot of us we having to deal with stuff like 2 years of that kind of thing.
100%, exactly right. Yeah,
it's just they teaching you to be safe, be safe, make sure safe people, blah 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 blah. But then you're like, okay, so when do you cut that off, kind of thing?
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So talking about movies.
Yeah.
And the latest Spider-Man we both have watched.
Yes.
I decided to purchase a reprint.
Oh, yeah.
Or first appearance of the Hobgoblin.
That's cool.
So 2 is a reprint. So, okay. So one thing. Okay. So if you have an original one, apparently the money book is if you kept tattoos. And I was wondering, okay, Marvel is so clever reprinting all this. It looks almost like the same, just the price tag is different between the comic book and blah, blah. Of course, it's nice and shiny. Where's my tattoos? They're not there. I was like thinking, oh damn, where's my? I was feeling like I have to have a tattoo in my hand, kind of thing. Just joking, but absolutely loved reading this. Okay, this is by John Romita. Oh, the scripter is Roger Stern, so written by Roger Stern, and artists are John Romita Jr. and John Romita Sr. So 2 of them in here. And of course, this first appearance of your Hobgoblin, I absolutely loved reading this. It was so bloody entertaining. It's like all your typical dreamy look-likes. Our Spider-Man is very dreamy. Look at him, like almost like a movie star, just like wandering off into somewhere, in his little brain. But anyway, so apparently his aunt is opening her house to unfortunate, like the house for people, like older people, I guess that's her part of the business going to be. And basically they're just having a talk, and of course Spider-Man reminiscing about the times when the Uncle Ben died, and this is great shot in here. And then they pass by into the streets, and like all nice and dandy. There's this one of friends of Aunt May, and then this thing happens where Spider-Man's tingling sensations, and the car whooshes by. And then the first thing he does, Spider-Man gets really angry like a bull and is storming after that. So almost kind of like kind of what happened to his Uncle Ben, that situation with him, it's kind of almost deja vu happens once again because Aunt May now is in trouble. And he gets really furious. Of course, you'll get all your ads in here, all of them, as part of a reprint, which is full price, $3.99. This one is facsimile edition, is what we call them, to make it pricier for us to buy. But anyway, so Spider-Man is after them. Really fantastic panels. I absolutely love when they do this. That motion of him jumping onto the police car.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, and then he's of course so hitching a ride with a police car. He's putting his camera because he's using all opportunity to make the money. That's how our Spider-Man, neighborhood Spider-Man, is trying to make this money through all these things what he has to do, and everything. And it seems to be he's catching everybody apart with this guy. And in this moment, while I was reading it, I was thinking, you know what? There's a lot of talks. So the last Spider-Man movie you watched, and I did, his friend, the Spider-Man, Tom Holland's, what's the actor's name? I forgot his name. Of course, I'm going to blank it. Anyway,
yeah,
so
no idea.
His best friend,
Yeah.
apparently there's a rumor saying that he's going to be a next Hobgoblin.
Oh, really? Hey?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but it's just the people
Right.
So it's not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
nothing has been announced, but just because this guy is going into things and trying to escape, and suddenly he finds this manhole. He goes in there in the sewers, seems to be, and to his own luck, he finds a lair of Green Goblin, the dead Green Goblin now, and everything is there ready for him. I was thinking maybe, to be honest, I tell you one thing. I don't know who's Hobgoblin in our Amazing Spider-Man universe because I have not read it all. I was disappointed they didn't really reveal the character here, even though it is. I'll show you how he appeared first, but I don't know who is he. So I guess I'm gonna be able to need to go and read it, the further issues, because I was like thinking, do I know who's actually Hobgoblin is? Because like things passes by me and stuff like that. So of course we go back to Mary Jane. Mary Jane in Florida having fun with the bikini, very sexy. John Romita Sr. draws Mary Jane. Wow, really nicely. Even I was like, woohoo! I could. Hey, she is sexy. Like all of them looks very dreamy in here. All like all those Gossip Girl type of TV show characters, kind of thing. All like, Jesus, they can do anything they want. So this mysterious character here, he's Hobgoblin. They don't reveal the name. He's this guy who actually found the lair. He's working for him. So who is he? Not revealed, unfortunately, to us. I have a suspicion who it maybe is from this reading issue, but full of action, full of fantastic paneling, full of skidding cars, which is absolutely well done in one panel. It's really top-notch comic books, to be honest. I was like, you can't really see a flaw. And this reprint is, this glossy paper does really help. But I'm glad to have this in this kind of format. I have an original one, but I don't have tattoos in it.
Right.
But I just got it because I had a chance to buy it. I was like, why not? I'm gonna have that in part of my collection, whatever, because it's not full value because somebody used the tattoos.
Yeah.
But everything just looks so. He's quite sinister. So the guy helps him, takes everything for him, puts them in a different location, all the stuff, whatever he found in the Green Goblin's lair. But he slows the car the guy was into. So he's really menacing, and he has this really crazy thoughts in here.
Yeah, look at that page. That second page is amazing. Yeah. Those very odd panels like that. Yeah. That's really nice. Like it's one of the rare times where I'm really digging the recoloring on it. It shows up on camera anyway. Like it looks really great. Yeah. And then he's talking like this. He's talking about what a power the Green Goblin had, how many great things he has in his disposal, but he wasn't really using them according to him in the way you should have been doing. And they have this like technology where you basically put your face thingy in this machine, and it basically contours your face in order to disturb it, to make it into some creature mask like that. So which is great. Mm-hmm. Fantastic like imaginations and stuff like that in that type. And if you as a kid reading it, this great. So entertaining and so like boost your like imagination greatly. So this is a spoiler alert. First appearance of her. Yeah.
A bit of a color, but it's like Green Goblin with everything attire. But he has exploding pumpkins and all that stuff. So
yeah.
And he says to be continued. I was like, damn you, man! I wanted to know who that guy is.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, absolutely fantastic little.
That's cool.
Comic, and as I say, I've read it when I got it, original one, but it seems to be, like after a while you kind of forget. But this reprint, even though it cost me like a comic book, it's so nicely, like feels really nice, good paper and everything. I guess on those facsimile editions, they spend a bit more money on the cover.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The usual comic books, they come month. Right. Or it seems to be that way anyway.
Did this one just come out, or is this a few weeks old now? Just came out? Okay.
Just came out. You should be able to find it.
Yeah. I'd grab myself one, and I'll probably grab one for my brother too, because he was such a huge Spider-Man fan. I think he might get a kick out of seeing this one.
Yeah, I think it's, as I say, it's really well. You have all your old stuff, even in the back, your old ads, and everything is old stuff, and then like all the, it's basically yeah. And you see the tattoos are here.
Yeah,
That's advertisement for what they had in the middle of it. Apparently.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's these kind of things, even though you pay a full price for a comic book, you usually get a month. It's
Yeah.
and sometimes those little gems like these, which it's a really overpriced. This is a great way to get in for your kids to get into. You're not going to be careful about this comic book. Just do your, like enjoy it, wrinkle, do memories will be made anyway. But very good read.
That's cool.
Spot on. Honestly, the writing was so easy to flow, even though there's lots of speech bubbles. But I don't know, maybe I was in the right mood. It's really essential for me. If I really kind of get into the comic book, I need to be just right moment and right time.
Yeah.
And like my brain just like, wow, it's like it blows my mind, even though I've been like, living through the years, and it's like, oh, why would you do that? And like something ridiculous like that. So really good read.
That's very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely be picking that one up.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else. I mean, I sort of touched on these last time. I finished the Last Days of American Crime.
Yes.
So issue 1 to 3, the best cover on them for sure. That one's my favorite cover. Yep. It was great. It's worth reading for sure. The ending sort of petered out for me, and I think it was because it was this double cross. Was it a triple cross? Was it a quadruple cross? And then there was, what I mean? It was just, it got so many. It was really hard to keep track.
So this is the earlier stuff that Rick Remender was starting to do. I don't like the artist. I have a really huge problem with the artist inside. Tocchini?
Yeah, honestly, like, and that's what I would say too. So I mean, Greg Tocchini, I think it's the guy that did Low, right? I believe it's the same artist. Yeah. I really struggled at times with who is this character. There would be a drawing of somebody, and I would really get confused, and that happened quite a few times, where I just couldn't keep track of, okay, is that our main character? Which side character is this? I wasn't crazy about, like, I like the art in Low quite a bit. I think it's really great. Yeah. But this one is just, I don't know, man. It just didn't work for me. It was weird.
No.
But that said, though, the story was great. I love the premise of the story. The premise is basically that amongst, like, the United States government is going to be broadcasting a signal that's going to basically have everybody, all of your kind of criminal instincts are going to be gone. Crime is going to be erased through this kind of signal that's going to sort of rewire your brain. At the same time, they're also going to be converting money and going purely digital to a digital system. Yeah. So it's sort of like a heist book where they're going to break into the bank and they're going to get this money and set themselves up. And they got to do it before this specific time and date. Yeah. Because once that signal goes. And then, like, there's I won't go any further looking through this final issue, but there's a huge spoiler, and it brings up an interesting idea of kind of people and the kinds of people that this, or how it would affect people and who it would affect. So it's neat, but I felt like at the end there was just so many thoughts that he was trying to kind of put a pin in, and then did a little swerve and then another little swerve, that it got a little too convoluted with, like, I know what you're trying to do, but it wasn't handled super deftly, so, but still, I would say it's another one. If you see it, pick it up, because it is well worth it, because there's some really, really good moments in it. And the storytelling up to that end, I think, is really solid. I mean, it's Rick Remender, man. Like, he's just a goddamn good writer. Yeah. And everybody's going to have a misstep now and again, but it didn't spoil the book for me by any stretch. And again, like, especially for the art, I'm a huge art guy, and that's usually a make or break for me. So even though there was parts I didn't like, I still was really into the story. Because I love a good heist story already, and this sort of like noirish kind of characters, and I like all that kind of stuff. So there was enough there to keep me going with it. So if you see it, if it's cheap, grab it. If not, don't worry.
It's always been on my list of recommended things to read.
Yeah.
I have, since what they say, Rick Ray says Tocini definitely improved when it comes to low. Agree, but for me, the face is, he has this weird angle. He does them like this and that. It's a lot of kind of convoluted, like you say, like like really interesting poses he tries to look, but sometimes it's I would say it meshes in too much. So he doesn't. If you're continuously doing that kind of poses of the faces, it's everywhere. You start to seeing it. He seems to be everywhere, and I don't. Totally. I hate to say about an artist because that's his own art style. That's what he does, and that's what how he's gonna do an abstract. Yes, it is true, but I don't know. It puts me off of the storyline. In like Low, I never finished the Low story. Did it finish? They actually finished well. How would
I didn't? I never finished it because it was all part of that time where I had to completely cut away my pull list. So I just didn't have an opportunity. I want to go back and finish it. I would love to, and I was thinking of maybe getting the hardcovers instead. So, but it hasn't been a priority. So every once in a while I'll think about it, but then I actually won't go and do it. You know what I mean? Because I would love to see how it ends because I was really into it. I thought it was a neat idea, but I never finished it. No.
Yeah, and then the color palette is definitely was helping him for sure. It was underwater. Don't forget that's really helps to that kind of style of art, I think. And it was, as I say, it was very interesting takes on it from the beginning for sure. But it ended okay, which is.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, that says a lot right there, Andrew. Yeah. Kind of a bummer. Yeah, that's too bad.
If I always been looking around to see if library has recommended stuff, but it seems to be I can't still find any. I mean, I can maybe go online of library system and just check what you have of this, but mainly they have the big two books because not everybody wants to read that stuff. So
yeah,
I'll show you another, like the last thing I read, and
sure.
Which I am kind of excited, but in a way, it's because it's a free trial. It gives you a week of free trial. I'll show you to what I'm talking about later. But I still continue with my Commandy.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
So the issue number 2, very good once again. So we have continues the adventure of our Commandy character, of course. And so the year of the rat, because the rats are main culprits in the storyline. And but what he does, it seems to be, he likes to have his splash pages. So in page 2 and 3, always a splash page.
Yeah, look at that, hey?
Yeah, and it's so this rat creatures takes over the everything, like a George Washington Bridge apparently is crumbling apart. And this is a bit was confusing for me to understand what it was. I was looking a couple of times, the first time and second one, but this Zeppelin, those flying balloon type of the ships. But it's kind of like maybe the shape, it was kind of a bit odd. But so Jack Kirby is artist, of course, and writer. But letterer and inker is Mike Royer. On this one, I mean, everything looks great, but I think those black lines is overkill to understand the shape of it because it's in motion. Because knowing Jack Kirby, how he likes everything in movement, it can be hit or miss, and I think it was a little bit of miss to me, at least. But yeah, so our captured those friends, and like they trying to basically find apparently Bill Baxter is his name, or Ben Baxter, I think. So he's trying to find his friend. So he's going to be going on adventure. And of course, Commandy feels like, like seeing another human being who is coherently talking in normal fashion, like what he knows, he wants to follow. Because he's a kid, he lost his granddad. I guess he's looking for father figure once again. But it seems to be those tigers, they're not letting them to relax for a bit. And they try to be basically put away or captured, again, not captured, but taken away from this, our doc professor, which I forgot his name now. Is this Canis is his name. Anyway, so and then of course the way of the escaping. So finally, kind of great. So he is basically a colossus with his powers of because of the exposure to radiation. This way of people apparently will be in future. You all turn in solid steel to protect yourself and be extremely strong, according to Jack Kirby. Yeah, and then also is all divided in chapters. So chapter 2, a short day's journey into death, which is interesting, like really good title for chapter 2. So they continuously, and then they do escape, and unfortunately our professor can't help them anymore, so they have to leave as soon as possible. Otherwise they probably will meet their own demise. But I really like the submarine they were coming into, and because Command is so short and tiny, he was fitting in that little cockpit. It was still like always tucked away behind the seat. But I really like this panel. It's one of my favorites of this book, because the way Command is looking all like dreamlike state while they're underwater with all those bubbles, and which is Kirby crackle as they famous for. Our my comic, no comic just that's it, my comic, like I need to buy a new one now.
Yeah
Changed. Anyway, fantastic little book as always. A lot of high actions, escapes, and finding his friends, and then those rat creatures and things, how they even play poker while they're being captured, so that's what you do as a rat, and to pass the time. But yes, exactly, Scott Connor. From near mint to fine now. Boo-hoo. Somebody wants the toilet paper, very good condition. I'm joking, by the way. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so fantastic stuff. A lot of action, a lot of great panels, a lot of movement, especially when the explosion happens and it says it's been hurtled away from the explosion. Nothing happened to his body, but the ropes has been tarnished apart, which is best part of the comic books, where our superheroes don't get hurt really, but whatever is tangled them disappear. No more tangles for you in the ropes. So really good. Yeah, so as I say, fantastic little tale, and it seems to be the next one will be a tale where they're gonna go into the land of our friend, and here for it, and it's called Tracking Site. Towns have had strange names, but in the world of Command knows this town will be more than fulfill the name of bears. So it seems to be it's going to be entertaining whatsoever. And a funny ad, the shadow coming soon, which is fantastic little couple of pages.
Yeah, that's a great ad. Yeah.
So very entertaining.
That's cool.
Love it. And now I ruined it. Thank you.
Yeah.
No more. Anyway,
yeah, that's right.
My butter hands are so cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I had too much of Swedish cider. I blame that.
Oh yeah. I think so too. I don't know how many. That would be a good 10-year anniversary video, going back through all the videos and compiling all the times I dropped books on camera.
Did you just say that? What I just see?
What?
Bernie Wrightson drew that shadow ad? What?
Oh, is that true? Check that out again.
What? No. Wow, it doesn't say anything on it, but yes, the faces, man. He's
yeah,
right.
Hey. Yeah.
All those shadowy, those grimacing faces.
Yeah.
It just screams Bernie. For
cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as I say, too much. This is how, if you can come past this Swedish cider. If you don't like it sweet cider.
I love sweet cider.
Oh, damn you. Anyway, if you don't,
I like them both. I'm not saying I like one more than the other. I'm just saying.
I'm just, but yeah,
I like liquids.
Yeah, it's not strong, but it does kick in the head, that you can see.
Yeah.
Book slips away from my hands.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, very good cider. It's great to drink, especially at middle of the night for me. For you, it's just and so according to the graces of DC has bestowed upon UK, and have an Infinity DC thingy, as you can see.
Yeah, cool.
So he gives you a free week trial.
Yeah.
So of course I will take that. It's free for a week. I will do that for sure. So I'll be seeing what I can. I already have. Oh, actually, I already have read. Oh, come on, open. How do you work this? It doesn't work now. Okay, fine. I don't know how to work, but yeah, dive back in. Why doesn't work? Anyway, I've read this one thing, issue 47. So first appearance of Parliament of Trees. Do you remember last week?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Really good issue, but very kinky. So apparently,
sorry, very what? You broke up there.
Not key. I don't know if kinky is the right word, but it's very. So a guy takes pictures of a lady.
Yeah.
In the forest, she's having a swim in the lake, and she's clicking away. Such a beautiful lady clicking away. Pee Thomas, like I don't want to type, like I don't want to go to her and say I'm just like randomly taking pictures of you. So I'm just staying away and just keep on clicking. Okay.
Yeah.
Away, and then Swamp Thing appears, and she starts kissing this stinky mud guy, and he doesn't understand why.
Yeah.
This is how the comic starts at the beginning. It's really good. Right. And then because it's I forgot her name now, but it's the love of
Abby. Yeah.
Abby, there you go. So she is kissing, and there's this really weird panel. I fucking thing doesn't work. I don't know how to, but it's still new to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how to make it work properly. Yes. Okay. As I say, I'm trying to open that comic, but it doesn't work. But there's this Parliament tree, so he goes into the highest hope. Like you go to, let's say, Comic-Con to meet your artist, and you have such a high hopes. You're gonna meet this hero of yours, and you're gonna see it. It's almost the same what Swamp Thing did. He's going to Parliament trees, go see him, and they tell him to basically go away. And he's like, "What? I'm part of you," because Parliamentary trees, like the power Swamp Thing, he has the power green.
Yep.
And apparently every other person who has similar powers, they have the same kind of similar story to the beginnings. So it was interesting. I don't think I was aware of how they have that Parliament trees, but was so bemused by how Swamp Thing had felt so disappointed by his first expectations of meeting and grandeur of history, and they much clever because they were before him and they have so much knowledge. Just ask him to go. It's like because you're asking the wrong questions, almost like the religion part of it. So
totally.
Anyway.
Are you going? Are you coming to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Okay. Love you, sweetie. Have fun.
Love you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming to say goodbye. Say goodbye to Rasa too.
Well, bye-bye. Enjoy.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Probably gonna come back down with Mom. So.
Okay, we're almost done, I think. So.
Yeah, we're almost done. You can.
No, that's great though. That on the free app thing, I did. I signed up for YouTube Premium because the first month is free. So when you do YouTube Premium, there's no commercials. Oh my God, it's so expensive after that though. It's like $12 a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ridiculous. Like I don't think I'm gonna keep it up, but I'm telling you, man, am I ever gonna miss it once it's gone? It's been so nice to watch videos this past week or two now that I've had it. So great to have that smooth. And it's one of those things, even when I stream from my phone and kind of attach it to my Blu-ray and play it on the TV, even that part of it seems to go a lot smoother than it used to without having the premium account. It's like, you fuckers, so it really starts to feel like they put shit in on purpose to get you to buy it, right? So but oh my God, no ads is the way to go.
Yeah. Well, if you watch it via television, or do you watch it via
both? Give me 1 sec, sorry.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, I'm just left alone. If you talking about the YouTube and ads, if I watch on a computer YouTube, I have ad block, which actually works really well. So talking about the computer, you can block it. There's those additional things you can add to your browsers.
That's right. Yeah.
Which does cut off your ads, which is great. But if
does it do any other shit though? Because I feel like that you then have to use a specific browser and all this kind of horse shit. Is it a pain in the ass to have that stuff, or?
It's on specific. Yeah, you add it to a specific browser you usually use.
I see.
Let's say this, But of course, if you use another browser and you put your thingy, it's gonna go back to the normal thing. But yeah, if you, I mean, that's what the thing I do. I watch on telly like you do. I have an. I usually watch all via my television because it has all that internet and shit. So mainly how I do it, or through Apple TV. But the only way you can cancel your ads is if you have those called VPNs.
Yeah.
That's a different cup of tea. If you're all knowledgeable about that, your actual internet provider box has to have that inside of it in order to cut the ads. That's how make it difficult for you, because they want your money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. My mom's got a VPN. My brother's got a VPN. So they've told me about it in the past, but I don't know. There's only so much, pardon me, that I'm willing to put into like my, online streaming. But it is tempting because I mean the ads are really just starting to piss me off, because it feels like they're getting more and more on YouTube. More mid-roll ads, beginning and end, and especially when I'm broadcasting to the TV, it ends up really slowing things down and lagging, so it's really just a pain in the ass. So it's been glorious to dip my toes in the premium world. I feel so elite.
But the thing is the same thing, like like those music stream things like Apple. Jesus, you can have any song you want, like think of it and it's there. But then you have to fork up a 10 quid a month.
To get everything. Yeah,
exactly. So anyway,
not
willing to spend that much money on.
No, me neither. There's no way I'm spending $12 a month. It's just not going to happen. No way in hell.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you, people. We have 2 hours of your therapy sessions finished.
Yeah.
That's via PayPal. I don't know what, but anyway, we'll catch up. I mean, you come, so we'd have to charge you. It's getting very expensive. We don't have that. You can see. So, somehow you have to pay your dues.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you very much for coming, and we will see you somewhere in between 3-hour channels.
Yeah, so on. Later.
Thank you very much for everything, and see you for next week. Bye.